Nick, can we start?
Yep, I'm ready whenever.
Okay. Any issue in the lab? Everything is fine?
Yeah, I got it all working.
Okay, good. So the next lesson is about importing the data into the ServiceNow instance. So this import set is a tool which we are using to import the data from the various data sources into the ServiceNow tables. Okay, so import set basically help you to pull the data from Excel sheet or XML, or you have CSV file or many other data sources as we see here in the diagram. From there, it will pull the data and it will put that data into some staging table. You can say import set, what we called it as. Once we pull the data there, you are basically providing the mapping between the staging table and the target table. Okay, that is called as transformation map. So once the data is there in the import set table, it will use that transformation map and push the data into the respective target table, into the target table, into the respective fields. So basically you need to provide that mapping. So from which column of Excel sheet will go to which import set table, and that is as the first step. And then from import set table, which we can also call it as a staging table, you provide the mapping, and from staging table it goes to the target data set. Okay. So let's see how it works. So there are four main components in the import set. The first one is the import set file type, like from where, what is the source. So you can import a file from local source or from network server by providing the path and authentication information, because this is the source from where you want to pull the data. So whatever things which is required to connect to that source, is there any authentication, anything, whatever. So you have to provide that so that you will connect to the source data source. That is the first part. Then second part is you are pulling that data into the import set table. So it acts as a staging area for record imported for a data source. So you provide the imports set table. So all the data from source will first come into the import set table. Then you have to provide the transformation map. So basically transformation map decide the relationship between the field displaying in the import set table to the target table, existing ServiceNow table. So you provide that mapping, and then finally you can run the transformation map. It will then, when you run that transformation map, it will pull the data from the staging table and put it into the target table. So these are the four main components of import set, and you have to configure it. Like you should tell what is the source, what is the staging tables, then map, and then run. So these are the four steps we'll be doing it. So before working on the import set, there are some guidelines or best practices provided by ServiceNow. First, you need to understand what data you are bringing in and where it should be placed. So you should be very clear about that. So what is the data in the source? This data is for what, in which table it should go, in which field, which data should go. Because if the data which you are pushing into the ServiceNow instances can be from many sources, it could be your historical applications, right? You have some conventional data sources. You need to find out logically where the data should be placed in the ServiceNow, in which table, in which field should go in which data target table. Then you have to plan the time before import to verify your data. So don't rush and try to import it, because once you import the data in ServiceNow, it will be difficult to rectify the issues. So it is better to spend this time, make a foolproof planning. Maybe you can import first with the sample data. Okay, you create a couple of 4 records in a sample data set. Try to test everything, whether the data is exactly, the mapping is correct, the data is going to the correct table. You should check all these things, and then finally you will run the actual data sets. Okay, so you should spend a lot of time on planning the data rather than import the data in hurry. Remove obsolete data before you import it. So if you have any test data created, anything which is garbage in your system, remove it first, make it clean, and then import it. Inaccurate data takes more time to fix, and that is the reason the we will service now recommend that you should spend more time on planning rather than importing the data quickly. Okay, making sense? That's quite
Yep.
logical. Correct. So now what are the steps? So there are three main steps. First step will pull the data from data source to the import set table, or uh, which is a staging area. Later on it become the source. Then create the transformation map, which will map the fields from source table to the target table like this. And then finally run the transformation map so that the data is actually pulled from the staging area to the main target tables. This is a quite straightforward stuff. So what is ServiceNow map? Sorry, transform map. So transform map at high level, the mapping between the source table and the target table. So if you want to learn more about it, this is the theory part. A transformation map is a set of field that map determine the relationship between the field, which data should, which field should go where. Sometimes you need to combine the data of two fields into one field. Sometimes you have to uh, separate out the data in one field into the multiple fields. Many things are there in a complex data transformation. Here we'll talk about the sample data one, the simple one. The steps remain same. Okay, these steps will not change. The only part will change is this transformation map. Whether you can manually map it, you can auto map it, or you can create a script which will use the script will be used to map the data. It means that there are some conditional mapping. If the source field value is this, then it will go to that field. If the source value is this, it will go to the another field. If the source value is this, then you can combine these two fields into one field. Like there are so many complex scenario you can create, but at high level these three steps remain same. Only thing, this transformation map could be simple or complex. So for the lab purpose, we'll do the simple mapping. I'll show you what is the data in the Excel sheet, and when we'll run this the entire activity, the data will be available you in the target table of a ServiceNow. Then later on you can explore it. Once you get into the ServiceNow and you start working on it, you will come to know like what are the complex scenario and all that. Okay, so either you can do it automatically, you can do it manually, or you can write a script for mapping that. All these things are possible. But before starting these steps, we would like to understand a couple of concepts called coalesce field. Coalesce field in import, coalesce field or a set of field means the field which will be used as a unique key. Okay, since you are comfortable with the database concept, you know what is unique key, right? What is unique key?
Yeah, it's just a unique attribute or a unique value that identifies different
Right.
entities.
You cannot have two record with the same value in the unique key. Correct? Employee ID, bank account number, social security number, they cannot have the two value in the same record, in the two record, same value in the two records. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And if match is found using coalesce field, the existing record will be updated with the information being imported. If no match is found, it will create the new record in the database. This is how it will work. If it find the matching record of employee ID, it will update the existing record. If it doesn't find the record with the same employee ID, it will create the record. Coalesce field can be consist of, as I said, it is a one field or the set of field. So both is possible. No coalesce, you can have the options. There are several possibilities you can configure. How do you want to handle this coalesce field? No coalesce means if no coalesce field is defined, all imported row are treated as a new record. No existing record is updated. It means that it will not check the unique key, unique lex field. No coalesce means I just want to import everything. Okay, irrespective of whether the date matching record is there or not, it doesn't matter. So generally this is used when you are importing the data for the first time. Okay, in the new instance. No coalesce. Single field coalesce, employee ID, account number. It's a simple single field coalesce. Multiple field coalesce, if you don't have the one field as a unique, you can say, I want to create a coalesce of multiple field together, right? First name and last name uniqueness, I want to check that. Or maybe employee ID and office location. If your office is managing the employee ID, different employee ID in different offices, you can do that. And conditional coalesce. So basically this is a bit complex. So you can write, you can use a script to determine whether this particular combination should be coalesce or not. And accordingly, you will take the decision whether you want to create the record or you want to update the existing record. Okay. Now let's start talking about the actual implementation, how this three steps will be doing. Okay, so I will show you in the lab. The first, let's understand the scenario. I have a source file called sys_user1.xlsx. This is the name of my source file. This is the source file, Excel file, where I have the data of some user. Okay, and where I want to push this record, I want to push this record into user table, that is sys_user table. Okay, now what data is there? I think let me share my screen so that I can show you what data I'm importing. Can you see the Excel sheet?
Yes.
Now these are the three records: user ID, name, email ID, and title. So these are the three records I want to import in the ServiceNow instance. Okay, so let's go to our ServiceNow instance. Go to home. User. So I will first see whether this record are already exist or not. Like a user ID is Amit called .Trivedi. So I will show you that records are not there. What happened? User ID Amit .Trivedi. I think it is showing all records starting with M. Let me see if that is the case. Okay. Anyway, I think it is starting with all it is showing, but name we'll check with email ID. That is better, I think. This is my email ID. So I will check with email ID. What is wrong with search? Amit.trivedi@example.com. Okay, example.coms are matching. No, it's okay. Anyway, name. Let's search with name. Oh my God, it's showing all AA. Okay, anyway, maybe. See, there is no record called Amit here. Can you see it?
Yeah,
okay.
I can see there's no record.
There is no record. There is no record for Anup.Lande or Adam.Centra. So you can check it here. There is no Anup here. There is no third record called Adam. So this is also not there. You can see all the records, which is not there. Anup. Okay. So we don't have this record, or when I will create, I will show you it is created on today's date. So it is just an verification purpose. Now let's follow our steps, how we can do it. First, we'll go and search for the load data options. We'll go here, stop this and say load data and system import set load data. Under system import set load data is there. Okay. Now here you have to, now what I'm doing, I'm on this stage load data. So here I am saying whether I'm creating this, whether this import data set table are already exist or I want to create the new one. That is what is it is for. So what I will do here, I want to create the new import set table. Okay. And I will give some name to it. What is the name I'm giving here? Enter the name. And then you have to specify the source file. What is the source file? Yeah, I will tell you what is the source file here. And then I will create the import data set. So when I give the name and everything, it will create the import data set and it will tell you this successful completion. So let's do that. I'm creating the new staging table or import set table. Import lab import set table. Okay. So I give the name lab import set table. What is the file? I will choose it from here. So I have to provide this file also, I think, in order to complete this lab. Okay, where it is. Excel sheet. Why I'm not able to find the Excel sheet? It is there. This one, right? Sys underscore user one.xls open. Clear? What is our scenario? This is our sys underscore user one is our source file and our target table is this, but right now we are creating the staging table. Imports set import set table, lab import set table, file is this user one, and I will say submit. Okay. Here it is said is completed successfully. Okay. Now what is next? This is what I done. So we are at this stage now. Okay. Now next is what? We want to create the transformation map, correct? What is our next step? Create transformation map. So we'll do that now. Here. Now we'll click on this create transformation map link. We'll give the name to the transformation map because transformation map is reusable. So once you create the transformation map, you can use it for many import set. So I'll say first I will go to the create transformation map. This is the link which create the transformation map. Okay. I'll say lab transformation map. Okay, this is the name of my transformation map, lab transformation map. And the target table, where is my target table? Which is the target table I should use?
The table we just imported.
Sys underscore, no. We have created the
Oh, you want
staging
to use
table.
user? Yeah.
Yes, I want to push the data into the system user table. So the name of the table is sys underscore user. Hmm. Okay, fine. I gave the name to the transformation map. I say this is my target table and I will save this record. So go and save it. Once it is saved, there are so many things appearing at the bottom. So we just wait for that. Is it stuck or what? Hold on, let it come. Okay. Now I want to create the map, right? Transformation map. I have just said what is my name of the map, which is my target file. Now here I would have to say auto map matching field. I will click on this. Click auto match mapping field under related link. Auto map matching. It is very slow, server. See, this is auto match is already done. Source field and target field. So it is auto match and coalex field is say false. So we have not created any coalex field here. Don't worry about that right now. But if you want, you can change it to no, so that that field will become an coalex field. So click on auto map. So I have done that. Now I'll go to the next. So these are the auto map field. Auto map matching field will map the matching column of the import set table and the target table automatically. You can also use map assistance option to manually map the data. Okay, so there is an option called manual map that also you can use, but this is our simple case. So you can also use this auto map or manual mapping. So I'm saying, okay, this is the manual auto map. Then I will click on this transformation map here, transform. Okay, so I'll go to the transform here. See the transformation map which is created. This is the lab transformation map. Okay, this way it is already there. Means it is selected here, because from here to here you can push, or since it is single map, it is already there. So you have it here. Uh, okay. So I'll click on transform. Okay. So transformation map get completed, update. Then click the transform map, import log, transform history. So it is completed successfully. Why it is showing that run transformation map? Like a minute here, import log. So importing record. It is imported, but it is run actually. Okay. Now let's go and see whether the record which we are trying to find is there or not. See, this, what happened? A to Z. Just now it was there, right? You see, Amit Trivedi is there. Can you see it? Second record.
Yeah, I see it.
Adam Kreta. It is created on 2nd November. Anup Lande, which is also created on 2nd November. So first three records which are created today. So these three records are there in the system now. Clear?
Yep, I'm good on that.
All right. So you will do the lab. That time you will actually use it. But before that, I think I need to send you that file. So let me compose. What is the Gmail ID you sent yesterday? Can you just quickly tell me what?
Yeah, it was NQUAD.
NQUAD,
Yeah,
right?
that one
This
right
one.
there.
Yeah. Load data file. Attach it. All right. So this is one thing. Okay. We'll continue this and then you can do the both the lab together. Okay. I think that is better. A reporting part, maybe we'll talk about it after you complete both the lab. Or
Okay.
let's see how it goes. First, let's continue with the CMDB part. Okay. Now, again, CMDB, as I said, we'll be discussing it again later in detail. So this is the place where we are discussing it again. What is CMDB? The Configuration Management Database, CMDB. Application is a series of table and fields that contain all of the configuration item information or attributes controlled by your company, as well as their attributes and relationship. Okay. So I think we discussed it at a length today morning. So do you want me to repeat that?
No, I think we discussed it in depth yesterday. So
Yeah. So these are all CI. See, server,
yeah.
laptop, application, mainframe. These are all CI. And in CMDB, we are storing the attributes. So database has its own attributes. File has attributes. People has attributes. Right? Network has attributes. Switch router has attributes. But along with that, we are not just storing the attributes. We are also storing the relationship. So this particular application depend on this server, because if this server goes down, this application will also goes down. Okay. This application depend on this database, because this database store all the information about this application. So if this goes down, this will also goes down. Fine. Network. So this server will be like there is say, for example, network and switch router. The network is available only when this say switch router is available. Okay, that kind of relationship, dependency relation. There are various type of relationship, but the most simple to understand is the dependency relationship. And dependency relationship is like this. So this application depend on, so you can have one database can hold the database of more than one application. So more than one application will depends on database. If this goes down, everything will goes down. All the application will goes down like that. So we are storing that information also, and that information is used for impact analysis. Okay, two key CMDB table. The first, this we already discussed, the core CMDB table, which store the attribute of all the CI, and CI relationship, that is CMDB underscore REL underscore CI table. This table define all existing relationship between the CI. So here, for example, BlackBerry services depend on email server, right? So your this type of relationship you are storing here. So these two tables are the two key CMDB table. And this dependency view, as I said, right? Dependency. So which CI depends on what, that you can see. Now you can also have the relationship between the database and server. So this server, this database reside on this server. So there is a relationship between these two. So all these dependency you can see it like this. And where you will be seeing this in your relationship table. In the today morning we talked about that. Dependency view is a graphical display of infrastructure view for the configuration item and the business services that is a part of, and that's its support. So these business services are supported by database, router, network, server. So these are all the CI which support the business services. So that business service depend on all that CI. So here you can see that how it is being, you can see it graphical representation. So these are the, service processes CMDB. So as I said, task table is also one of the core table, and all incident, problem, change, service request, they are extension of your task table. So task table is a parent, whereas incident, problem, change, service request are the child of task table. And this is the CMDB CI table. So CMDB CI table is a parent, and the hardware table, server table, network device, router, switches, databases, these are all extension of CMDB CI table. Okay, making sense this slide?
Yep, makes sense.
All right. So this is core CMDB considerations. Like when you design, when you are first time implementing the CMDB, what are the things which you need to consider? First of all, you need to understand what are my CI. Okay, because what is the definition I give you today morning? All the infrastructure item which you use to deliver the service to your customer is nothing but a CI for you. Okay, so you need to understand first what is my CI. Then second thing is, how do you enter the data or import the data into the CMDB? Because CMDB is not one-time activity. CMDB is not something you import the data and forget it. You have continuous monitoring and update of that data. Then only your CMDB is useful in the long term. Otherwise, if you are not managing, if you are not maintaining the data in CMDB, if your data in the CMDB is not up to date, then your CMDB is a garbage. So you should have know what are the CI I am maintaining in CMDB. What is the process I am following to import the data into it, and what is the process I am following to maintain or update the data in that. Okay, so this is what you have to consider. Where is data stored? Identify and extend the table accordingly. So you are hardware, network, server, databases, application, people. You can extend it, but you have to extend it by considering what are the CI. Are you managing server as a CI? Then extend it and create the server table. Are you managing the network device as a CI? Extend it, create the network table. Are you managing the database as a CI? Extend it to the database. Or in server also, like for example, you decided to manage the server. Okay, I put it server. Now in server, I have a Windows server and Unix server. So I will extend the server table further and saying, okay, I want to maintain the Unix server and Windows server separately, I can extend it. So the Windows server and Unix server table are the child of server, and the CMDB CI table is a parent of server, like this. So you can extend this chain the way you want to design your CMDB. Okay. And you should decide what data is necessary, and only necessary data should be stored in the respective table. What is the data? Like in server, what you want to store? You want to store the memory, hard disk capacity, OS which is installed on that, right? Uh, Maybe CPU, number of CPU installed, the heart rate, what is the CPU clock rate, that core attribute. Do you want to store the information about the OS which is stored on this server? You should decide yes or no. Okay, if you want to maintain that information, create the attribute and store it there. Do you want to store the version of the operating system which you are installing on that? Yes or no. If yes, create the attribute. If no, discard it. But how do you decide which attribute should be there and which attribute should not be there? Any idea? Any thought? Any
Um,
wild guess?
Once you clean the data, I guess you would kind of figure out what needs to be there and what doesn't.
Yeah, but what is the basic idea? Means I'm storing, see on the server table, I'm storing which operating system is installed on this server. This attribute I'm storing. Fine. Now I want to decide whether should I save the version of the operating system or not. So what is the basic concept of managing whether I should add this attribute or not? What do you think?
You have to determine whether or not that's necessary, and if it's going to
Necessary
cause
means,
problems later on.
yeah, means first of all, the very basic condition for storing any attribute is whether are you going to use it or not. Correct? Is there any consumer to consume that data, to use that data? Yes or no? If there is a
Oh, right.
use, if are you using it in for some purpose, then store it. If you don't use it for any purpose, then it is the waste of efforts. Correct?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it is a continuous effort. It is not a one-time efforts. If it is a one-time effort, I will say, okay, I will put that data into CMDB and I will forget it. But in CMDB, that is not the case. When you import the data, you should maintain it. If tomorrow somebody upgrade the OS version from X to Y, then that information should update in your system. So update is another overhead. So you should store only those attributes which is used by somebody in the organization. If nobody is using it, don't store it. Okay, that is one condition. That is the most basic thing. And you should also know when should import or refresh the CI data. Because what I told you, CI is a continuous update process. So depending on how frequently the changes are happening in your organization, you should decide the update frequency. Like if you are changing everything on every day, you should refresh the data after every 8 hour or 12 hour or 24 hour. If you know that there are no much changes is happening in my organization, so you can do it on weekly or monthly basis, that is fine. But you should have something to maintain the up-to-date data into the system. Clear?
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, this I think we already discussed this table, right?
Yeah, we looked at this.
Yes.